from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. Welcome to the National News broadcast coming to you live from the National News Studio here at Rupavahini. I'm Kasini Balachandra. Joining me is Charita Minipurarachi. Let's start off with a quick look at the headlines.
Former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan shot and wounded at a rally. Lanka suffers slashes prices of 4 essential commodities from midnight today. A revival in tourist arrivals from Russia. No fuel price revision this week. President writes to the Speaker. Venerable Pallegama Hemaratana Thera appointed as the incumbent Atamasthanathipati. State Minister Siambala Pittiat revealed the true situation behind the revenue in a substantial report.
We move on to those and other stories in detail, and in your top local story tonight, 7 people, including former Prime Minister Imran Khan and other party leaders, were injured, and a party worker was killed in a gun attack on the PTI chief's container as his convoy reached Waziradabad's Alawala Chowk today.
The Punjab police said that the disease has been identified as Muazzam Nawaz. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been shot and wounded in the leg in an attack on his protest march in the eastern city of Wazirabad. A senior aide told the AFP news agency is an attempt to kill him, but police are yet to confirm that he was the target. Mr. Khan, 70, was leading the march on the capital Islamabad to demand snap elections after he was outside in April. The former Prime Minister was seen being taken to a hospital at Lahore. A party spokesman said that he has been hit in the shin. Another party leader, Provincial Health Minister Yasmin Rashid, said Minister Khan was in a stable condition. Police released a video confession of a man that arrested who they said that attempted to kill the former Prime Minister. It is unclear under what condition the interview was carried out, but the man is asked by police why he opened fire. Video footage from the scene showed Mr. Khan and his supporters riding on top of a shipping container towed by a lorry before burst of gunfire is heard. Mr. Khan is then seen talking as those around him try to call him. Another video shows a conscious Mr. Khan with a bandage on his right leg being taken away in a vehicle after the shooting. A PTI member is also seen with a bandage on his face and blood on his clothing, saying that people should pray for Mr. Khan and all those injured. Current Prime Minister Shehzad Sharif condemned the shooting and ordered an immediate investigation. President Arif Alvi said that the incident was a heinous assassination attempt. Mr. Khan has been leading a protest march, the second such rally this year, for the past 7 days, calling for new elections. The government has repeatedly said it will hold elections next year as planned. Last month, Pakistan's Election Commission disqualified Mr. Khan from holding public affairs in a case described by the former star cricketer as politically motivated. He had been accused of incorrectly declaring details of gifts from foreign dignitaries and proceeds from their alleged sale. The gift included Rolex watches, a ring and a pair of cufflinks. Pakistan has a long history of deadly political violence. In the most high-profile case, former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto was assassinated at a public rally in 2017. And meanwhile, the ZF-1611 flight consisting of 335 passengers landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayake this morning.
With the flight, Russia's largest charter airline Azur Air resumed flight operations to Sri Lanka today. The flight departed from the Nukovo International Airport in Moscow and landed in Colombo at 9:45 a.m. Former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia, Udayanga Veeratunga, chairman of Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, Chalaka Gajabahu, and deputy chairman of Airport and Aviation Services Limited, Dr. Ajit Mendes, were present at the occasion. Accordingly, Russian airline Azur Air will resume its operations and is expected to bring Russian tourists from St. Petersburg, Krasnoyarsk, Novozar, Serbia every 10 days. Flights will also operate twice a week from Moscow to Colombo. A large group of Russian tourists is expected to arrive in the country in the next couple of days, and the government is also expecting to bring down close to 8,500 tourists from Russia each month. The expected arrivals from Russia for the upcoming winter season is set to exceed 40,000. A total of 194,495 tourists arrived in the country in the past year. A total of 568,258 tourist arrivals has been recorded until the 31st of October this year. The month of October has recorded 42,026 tourist arrivals, which is an increase of 19,255 arrivals compared to the month of October in the previous year. Air France, the national courier of France, is also expected to resume operations to Sri Lanka from tomorrow onwards. Swiss Air is also expected to resume operations to Sri Lanka from the 10th, as per Minister Harim Fernando. He pointed out that tourist arrivals from the Europe will support the country's economy immensely.
And meanwhile, Lanka South-Osa has reduced the prices of 4 essential commodities. South-Osa Chairman Prasanna Rupavahini said that relevant price revisions will come into effect from midnight today. Accordingly, a kilogram of dried spreads, which was at 1,500 rupees, has been reduced to 1,300 rupees. The new price of a kilogram of wheat flour is at 279 rupees. A kilogram of white sugar, which was at 260 rupees, has been reduced to 238 rupees. Also, the price of a large canned fish, which was at 690 rupees, has now been reduced to 585 rupees. And the State Minister of Power and Energy has indicated that there will be no fuel price revisions this week.
The ministry has announced that non-placement of orders has led to the long queues near filling stations. In a statement, the ministry has indicated that the filling station owners has failed to place their orders, anticipating a price reduction in fuel. The statement has further revealed that the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and Lanka IOC both have ample stocks to fulfill requirements for the next couple of weeks. Petroleum Distributors Association has said that a delay has been observed in placing orders for relevant fuel requirements. However, the ministry has announced that there will be no fuel price revision this week.
The Ministry of Agriculture says over 10,000 field houses will be required for the paddy cultivation in the Maha season. The ministry has indicated that the relevant field requirements was calculated by the officials together with the agrarian societies. The quantity of fuel required for harvesting is estimated at 32 million litres. Another 40 million litres of fuel will be required to the preparing of the paddy fields. As per the instructions from the President, an official has been assigned from the Ministry of Agriculture to coordinate with the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. The Ministry of Agriculture has indicated that necessary measures will be taken to provide the fertilizer and fuel required for the cultivations without any delay. Steps have been taken to prepare seeds for the vegetable and fruit cultivations and Maha season in 2022 until 2024 to prevent imports.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe points out that although the formation of the National Assembly has been concluded to bring far-reaching systematic changes, satisfactory progress has not been made with regard to other proposals. The President has indicated this in a letter to Speaker Mahinda Abeyewardene today. The establishment of National Assembly and the appointment of 3 committees relating to public finance and banking were proposed under far-reaching systematic changes. In addition, it was also proposed to appoint the Banking and Financial Services Committee, the Economic Stabilization Committee and the Committee on Ways and Means relating to banking affairs, as well as to delegate 5 youth representatives for the sectoral committees and to establish the Parliamentary Budget Office. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has expressed that all the 17 parliamentary sectoral committees should be established as indicated by these proposals. The chairperson has not been designated for them, and the criteria for selecting the youth representatives to be appointed for this purpose has yet to be prepared. The President has further stated in the letter that these proposals can be implemented when next year's budget is implemented, and consequently the systematic change is expected by the government will be achieved immediately. The drafted bill for the Parliamentary Budget Office has also been approved by the Cabinet of Ministers, and the President has informed Speaker Mahinda Apabewardena that he intends to present it to the Parliament after consulting with party leaders and certification by the Attorney General. An alleged assault on journalist Shabir Mohammed, who covered the protest organized by several opposition political parties, trade unions and civil organizations yesterday, has been reported.
And several media organizations have condemned the alleged assault. A protest rally was organized by several political parties in the opposition, including Samaki Janabalawege, Sri Lanka Freedom Party and Tamil National Alliance. Meanwhile, Exposure website took measures to proceed with a live broadcast of the rally from their website. During this attempt, journalist Shabir Mohammed faced this experience. The person who knocked the phone belonging to Shabir Mohammed has been identified as social activist Rekha Nilushi Herat. They also works as a journalist. Shabir Mohammed, sharing his experience, said that they continue to fulfill their journalistic responsibility by engaging in the coverage amid such behaviors. During the protest rally, certain protesters expressed their displeasure over the participation of several politicians. Several media organizations condemned the incident occurred yesterday. The Digital Journalist Collective expressed their displeasure over the alleged assault on journalist Shabir Mohammed and requested the relevant authorities to conduct a fair inquiry over the incident. Also, the all-party protest condemned the incident. Meanwhile, Exposure Editorial Board also shared their displeasure over the alleged assault. And meanwhile, the Sri Lankan authorities held a virtual meeting with the Sri Lanka's official creditors today. The meeting represented another important step towards securing International Monetary Fund Board approval for several Sri Lankan IMF programs. During the meeting, State Minister Shan Semasinga said that Sri Lanka is at a critical stage and the government is seeking IMF program approval as soon as possible in order to restore macroeconomic stability. The State Minister extended his gratitude to the bilateral partners for the continued engagement and support during this process. The Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, said that the IMF program and economic reforms agenda will reconstitute Sri Lanka's financial buffer. He thanked the official creditors for joining the productive meeting where they were able to discuss Sri Lanka's current financial position and progress on reforms. Sri Lanka reached a staff-level agreement with the IMF on a 4-year program supported by the Extended Fund Facility in September. The program, amounting to $2.9 billion is expected to restore macroeconomic stability and sustainability while protecting the vulnerable and safeguarding Sri Lanka's financial system. The agreement remains subject to IMF Executive Board approval. The IMF program has been centered around Sri Lanka's ambitious reform program. The aspects are fiscal reforms, restoring public debt sustainability, restoring price stability and rebuild external buffers and safeguarding of the financial stability. In addition to these aspects, the government will introduce a series of anti-corruption reforms that will align Sri Lanka's legal framework with international standards and will implement broader structural reforms to unlock Sri Lanka's growth potential.
State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya says the Inland Revenue Department has fulfilled 68% of the targets pertaining to this year. He pointed out that substantial report over the actual situation of the country's tax revenue will be presented to the general public in near future.
The State Minister made these remarks while taking part in the annual general meeting of the Inland Revenue Commissioners Association today. State Minister Shan Semasinga was also present at this occasion. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya said that in 2021, the department was tasked to earn revenue worth 488 billion and they were able to earn 497 billion. However, he said that the government has now tasked the department to earn revenue worth 915 billion to stimulate the economy. He pointed out that the department has been able to fulfill 68.4% of the target by the end of September. He said that they have granted responsibility greater to embark on a new journey without dwelling on the past.
සැප්තැම්බර් මාසේ අවසන් වෙනකොට 68.4ක් මේ අපේ ඉලක්ක වලින් ඔබතුමාලා හොයලා දීලා තියෙනවා. හරියටම යන්න නම් 75ක් යන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් සංකෝචන වෙන ආර්ථිකයක 87.5ක් වැඩියෙන් ගිය අවුරුද්දට වැඩිය හොයන්න කියලා කිව්වහම ඔබතුමාලා ඒකටත් ළඟා වෙමින් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ජාතිය මේක අපේ රට පැරණි දේවල් කතා කරගෙන කාලේ නාස්ති කරනවට වැඩිය අපිට මහා වගකීමක් තියෙනවා අලුත් ගමනක් යන්න. අපි අදිෂ්ඨානයෙන් යුතුව මේ ගමන යමු. එකිනෙකා අතර
State Minister Shahan Singh said that the tax collection and the affiliated processes are not completely digitalized at present. He said that they are intended to proceed with a complete digitalization process and requested the support of the department to expedite the relevant program. He added that the government will be able to provide relief for the masses after stabilizing the economy.
Attention has been directed to establish a Japanese language training center in Sitavaka to facilitate language learners in the country and to encourage them to seek employment opportunities in Japan. Representative Director of Shimo Planning Corporation Limited, Shimotori Hiroyuki, made these remarks during a meeting with Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Prime Minister's office in Colombo yesterday. A discussion was held on the establishment of a Japanese language training center in Sitavak area to facilitate language learners in the country and to encourage them to seek employment opportunities in Japan. The Japanese language education is provided free of charge. It was revealed that Shimo Planning Corporation Limited hopes to start a new project in Miris area to recycle fish bones, skin and other leftovers that are not consumed in Sri Lanka and import them as animal feed to Japan.
And meanwhile, the latest vessel manufactured by Colombo Dockyard Limited was commissioned ceremonially today. Today's ship was manufactured for Orion Marine Limited in France. The vessel Sophie German was commissioned from Colombo Dockyard premises. The basic design of the ship was completed by a Norway company and it has been designed as an environmental friendly vessel. Colombo Dockyard, which is a renowned brand and the European market, brings Sri Lankan product crafted with the Sri Lankan engineered technology infused with Japanese standards. The Sri Lankan Dockyard is also considered as one of the top Sri Lankan company which brings in foreign exchange to the country. Chief Executive Officer of Orion Marine Limited, D. Dillard Marker, the commissioning of the ship, chairman of the Colombo Dockyard Hideki Tanaka, was present at this occasion.
The Supreme Court concluded the consideration of the petitions filed against the Inland Revenue Amendment Draft Bill, which was presented to the Parliament by the government. The Supreme Court announced today that the confidential recommendations of the complexity of the relevant draft bill will be directed to the Speaker. The relevant petitions were taken up for consideration for the second day before three-member Supreme Court judge panel comprised of Justices Buanakalu Vihara, Muradu Fernando and Janak De Silva. Following a lengthy consideration, the oral submissions were concluded today and the Supreme Court requested the relevant parties to present relevant written submissions related to the petitions tomorrow. Subsequently, the confidential recommendations over the complexity of the draft bill is expected to be directed to the Speaker. 8 parties, including the High Court Judges Association and Sri Lanka Judicial Officers Association, submitted petitions challenging the draft bill. In the meantime, General Secretary of United National Party, Palitha Rangabandara, and its Deputy Leader, Akila Viraj Karyavasam, filed interim petitions requesting to issue an order citing that the relevant provisions in the draft bill are consistent with the provisions of the Constitution.
The Supreme Court ordered today to appoint a committee led by the Attorney General to decide on the methodology to pay compensation for the severe damages caused for the marine environment and the fisheries community from the Express Pearl vessel which caught on fire in Colombo coastal region. The relevant order was issued when 4 fundamental right petitions filed against the incident was taken up for hearing. The petitioners were summoned before a Supreme Court judge bench comprised of Justices Esturai Raja, Achula Venkapulli and Mahinda Samyawardana. The petitioners were filed requesting to issue an order to claim compensation for the damages caused for the incident and steps to be taken to file cases against those responsible. Additional Solicitor General Nerine Pulle, representing the Attorney General, said that relevant documents pertaining to the payments to be made for the damages caused on the marine environment and the fisheries communities have been submitted to the courts. Representing the shipping company, President's Counsel Harsha Amarsekar said that relevant company is also willing to make an additional compensation payment as well. Attorney at law Himali Kularatna, representing the petitioners, pointed out that the petitioners are yet to receive any compensation for the damages they suffered from the incident. Justice Esturai Raja pointed out that the relevant shipping company should pay the compensation in an efficient and transparent manner. Accordingly, the judge bench decided to appoint a committee to decide on the methodology to make the necessary compensations as interim allowance provision, and the next hearing will be on the 24th of May.
Now let's take a look at several local news in brief. Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka, Mizukoshi Hideki, engaged in an observational tour in Muskelia and Hatton area upon an invitation from Ceylon Workers' Congress. During the tour, he visited the Kottagala Ceylon Workers' Congress headquarters and also inquired into the shortcomings at the Thondaman Vocational Training Centre in Hatton. The new chief incumbent of Attamastania, Venerable Pallegama Hemaratna Thera, is set to assume duties on November 11th. The committee of the Attamastania reached a decision to appoint the Venerable Thera, who was the chief incumbent of Ruanveli Seya. A Dhamma sermon making the 6th anniversary of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was held at the party headquarters in Battaramulla yesterday. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena were present at the occasion. A short course on parliamentary affairs and procedures were recently commenced for the undergraduates at Jaffna University. The Parliamentary Secretariat is extending necessary resources for the course. Dear Senanayaka College, Colombo initiated a lunch program for the students at Badruddin Mohammed School in Modara. The program will continue until December. Today's program was held with the participation of the school principal, Prasannuda Muhandiram, and staff of both the schools. Piliyandala Traders Association initiated a lunch program for students at the Sri Sudarshana Junior School in Hendigama, Piliyandala. The program will continue for a period of 1 month. Foreign news on the other side of this break.
People's Remittance இடமிருந்து நாளாந்தம் 10,000 ரூபாய், வாராந்தம் பெறுமதியான தங்க பவுன், மாதாந்தம் 1 மில்லியன் ரூபாவுடன் வருட இறுதி மாபெரும் சீட்டிழப்பில் 1 கோடி ரூபாய். நீங்கள் வெளிநாட்டிலிருந்து மக்கள் வங்கியினூடாக பணம் அனுப்பும் போது பரிசு குவியல். People's Remittance, கோடி அதிர்ஷ்டம், அனுப்பவும் வெல்லவும்.
Welcome back, and in your foreign news tonight, a surprise deal has been reached in the Ethiopian civil war, with both sides agreeing to halt their 2-year conflict, which led to thousands of deaths and warnings of a famine. The African Union has called it a new dawn.
The agreement between the Ethiopian government and Tigrayan forces should allow deliveries to resume. Amidst 90% of people in the northern Tigray region need food aid. The World Health Organization says about a third of the region's children are suffering from malnutrition. Although it's a major breakthrough, it's still being received with some degree of caution. This is not the first ceasefire in conflict. A previous one was breached in August, just months after both sides committed to it. This time, though, the agreements have gone further further, the Ethiopian government officials and representatives of the Tigray People's Liberation Front have signed up a disarmament plan, and the Restoration have signed up a disarmament plan with the crucial services.
Prima Stella Set Yogurt.
ජය ගන්න වැඩි වෙන්න.
In your sports news tonight, Pakistan managed to secure a 33-run victory in Duckworth-Lewis method against South Africa in a T20 World Cup match. The match was played in Sydney, Australia.
Batting first, Pakistan scored 185 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. Pakistani's Shadab Khan scored 52 runs while Iftikhar Ahmed scored 51. Chasing the target, the South Africans lost their first 4 wickets for a score of 69. Following a rain interruption, South Africa was posed with a target of 142 runs in 14 overs. However, they only managed to gather 118 runs in their innings.
A special meeting on the preparations of the Sri Lankan sprinter Yupun Abekun for the upcoming tournaments was held yesterday. Minister Roshan Ranasinghe was present at the meeting held at the Sports Ministry.
During the meeting, Minister Roshan Ranasinghe said that Yupun Abekun will make Sri Lanka proud in the international arena in the near future. Lengthy discussions were held over the ministry's support towards the athlete in achieving various victories running up to 2026. Meanwhile, officials of the Sri Lanka Automobile Federation met with Minister Roshan Ranasinghe yesterday.
Prima Stella Set Yogurt.
ජය ගන්න වැඩි වෙන්න.
And with that, we conclude tonight's English news on Rupavahini. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.